My message to the losers: losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my...
Renowned comedian and writer have been challenging The View since they began spreading nonsense, and he continues to expose them to this day. In his recent show, he dropped a bombshell that left them furious. Before we dive into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bill Maher is unafraid to speak his mind and stand by his beliefs, just like The View. But the difference is that losers need to take a long look in the mirror.
The whole show, the winners, the losers. My message to the losers: losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling. Losers, look in the mirror, okay? You know, I mean, for months, Democrats have been saying, how is this even close? And they're right, it wasn't. They could not conceive of a second Trump term, but they should have. When does America ever turn down second? I mean, come on.
The View were visibly uncomfortable in their chairs. That's when they started digging for dirt on Bill Maher. However, none of their attacks landed. Maher only pushed back harder with his sharp humor. Just watch how he responded to The View when they questioned how Trump would accomplish all the things he promised, given the millions of immigrants.
They won, now they have reality they have to deal with. You know, we'll see what they do. See if they live up to their word. Trump says he's going to deport 12 million people. How are you going to get 12 million people back into Mexico? And today Trump said, I'm way ahead of you. Why do you think I left so many holes in the wall?
The comments overwhelmingly conservative. Many appreciated Bill for being optimistic and standing firmly by his beliefs. Tired of the Democrats, Bill threw direct punches at other late-night show hosts, mocking them for claiming they would leave the country, only to find the Mexico border closed. But this is just the beginning. Bill Maher also highlighted an issue where The View and other left-leaning media failed to take accountability.
It was on Saturday Night Live, as the losing candidate often is. It worked so well for Hillary. Let's run that back. And it just made me think, I'm sure every single member of the Saturday Night Live cast was a Harris supporter. But what if one of them wasn't? What if one of those cast members was for Trump? Would they have felt comfortable saying so? I really don't think so. They would have had to keep it to themselves. That's not a good place for us to be. I remember when, and that happens even more on the left. And I remember when Elon Musk hosted, and this is well before he was a Trumper. This is 3 or 4 years. He was just the richest man in the world. And a number of the cast members on Saturday Night Live, like, they didn't want to deal with him. They didn't exactly boycott, but they made it plain. And I was thinking, really? You have Elon Musk on your show for a week. You could talk to one of the most interesting, brilliant people the world has ever produced, even about this issue that bothers you so much, that he's so rich and lots of people aren't. But no, you don't want to even deal with him. That's what I hate about the left. You're brats and you're snobs and people.
Yeah, that's the propaganda they pushed. And if you need proof, just look at how all the co-hosts of The View went silent after Bill Maher shared his opinion live on air. Keep in mind, the issue was initially raised by Sunny herself, but the way Maher turned the argument back on her shocked the world, leaving everyone speechless and not even willing to clap.
Israel 5 times, they've started 5 wars since they were given that land back. They could have chosen to turn that place into any place they wanted to, and they took a lot of money that they took from the international community and they spent it on bombs and guns and building tunnels. So if they need to be destroyed, how do we do that? It's a war. I don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to do that. I assume the Israeli... Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop that. Stop attacking Israel.
Just look at how Whoopi and Joy were completely shocked, like they were in a state of disbelief. What they're missing here is that Bill is making a valid point. It's not about left or right. He's simply presenting the right way to stop war. But if you listen closely, he points out that their administration is at fault for this issue. Instead of working to stop the war, they escalated it further, yet they criticize Trump when he pushes for peace. Now, take a moment to hear Bill Maher's thoughts on free speech.
Ira Glasser, former longtime head of the ACLU, talking about free speech. Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, I hope is still a friend, we can disagree with each other, should not be canceled or put off her show, as much as I totally disagree with her crazy statement. Free speech. She should be there. She shouldn't get a timeout.
Not every single thing has to be for everybody.
Right.
We can have platforms that have stuff on them that not everyone on that platform or who consumes stuff on that platform enjoys. And The View is a particularly weird place to do a cancellation.
It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that it's called, I mean, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
Yes, they took the wrong stance. They should have been seated in the corner. This is a difficult truth for the left to accept because, for them, the only acceptable opinion is their own, which they push on their nonsensical shows. People have different perspectives, and accepting or debating them is one thing, but that's not tolerated when it comes to The View. Here, Bill Maher pointed out an issue where Whoopi was wrong, but he never suggested that she should be pushed to the sidelines.
A very different opinion. And the answer is not to make them sit in a corner for 2 weeks. That is insulting. It's so insulting to make a 65-year-old, I mean, the person at ABC News said, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Reflect. How insulting for someone of her age, who's a sophisticated person, and the impact of her comment. There is no impact. There aren't neo-Nazis waiting for the green light from the lady on The View to go out and do a new crystal knot.
So right. And the whole point of free speech is we don't need free speech when we're right, when everyone agrees with us. We need free speech when we're wrong. We need free speech to make mistakes. We need free speech to say really unpopular things. And one of the reasons I'm always proud to come on this show, and I suspect you feel the same way, Catherine, is this is the only space left on television where people can speak freely and not be terrified, right? And you have...
Yes, but have you ever seen anything like this happen on The View ? No, never. Your grandchildren will likely never witness such a moment. Just observe how The View treats anyone who expresses even a slightly different opinion that doesn't align with their narrative.
The whole point is they didn't vote for him because of racism and misogyny. They voted for him because they felt like, I think the biggest common denominator in this election is people want a good life and ability to provide for their family.
Well,
and whether we agree or not with Donald Trump's plans,
Black people
they thought that he was reflective.
One of the poorest demographics in this country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
But the stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I'm white, I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not what stat. What stat are you talking about?
You can't dissect the two.
Yes, you can. There's a lot
Hold on.
The big interruption is happening again. But have you noticed that you can't even acknowledge a valid point if it comes from a different perspective? For those who don't know, this was a point originally raised by Bill Maher. Drop your thoughts on this topic, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.